I'll do the ones I said for you guys to do. Notice that this says a 2, so this, the joint and combined is really algebra 2 content, whereas the direct and inverse was really algebra 1. So you start to see a mixture of those towards these last units. Right? For number 1, even though they have different variables, consider one to be y, one to be x, whichever one you consider x or y, doesn't matter. Let's say I said g was my y and h was my x, and I want to get this, you can do one of two things. If I wanted to solve this for y, I could divide by h. This would tell me that it's inverse. I could have also just not done that and looked at it. G times h would be the equivalent of y times x, which gives us our k value, so that would be inverse. I had you skip B because as I was working it out, I wasn't quite sure, so just skip that one. Here we have x and y. We need to get y out from the denominator, so multiply both sides by y. And then solve for solve for y so we can get rid of the 4.65. Because the number is in the denominator, that would be direct. If the variable was in the denominator, then it would be inverse. And for D, I don't really have to do anything. Let's say C is like my Y, A is like some X, and then I have a Z, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because the variables are next to each other, this is a joint lead. So just being able to recognize what those look like will help you. Questions on those 3? Jointly. Because all the variables are next to each other, the A and the B. So if you have more than one variable and they're right next to each other, that's jointly. Right. For 2, assuming temperature remains constant, the volume of a gas V varies inversely with its pressure P. So be thinking of how would I write this as an inverse equation and things like that. We're trying to find the constant of proportionality. So if it's inverse, to find your K value, you multiply them together. So if you multiply 6 and 220, you should get K. Someone do that. Tell me what K was. And then part B is asking what is the volume of the gas when the pressure is 330. So these are just like the problems we've been doing, it's just in separate parts. So our equation would be V equals K over P. So we're looking for the volume. We know our K is 1320 and our P is 330. Divide that and figure out the volume. And this would be liters. Yes, Christine. I guess it probably not. But they're going to be similar. Like you're going to use the same one over and over and over again. Right. For number 3, area of a trapezoid varies jointly as its height and the sum of its bases. So if you weren't aware, trapezoid has two bases. So this equation would be A equals, very shortly, K, the height, and the sum of the bases. Base 1 plus base 2. Looks something like that. Then it says a trapezoid with a height of 8, bases of 10 and 15 has an area of 100. So those are the numbers. Actually, what I just wrote was for A, or A. We can use those numbers to find K. Let's see, 100 equals K times 8 times 10 plus 15. So you could add the sums 10 and 15, multiply 8 and 25. Someone do that. Tell me what it is. Okay. I was like doing the math in my head. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it does. And then solving for K, we would divide. So simplifying this, we get 1/2. Which, if you know anything about the area of a trapezoid, it's A equals 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. So that should have been 1/2. So then we can use that K value to find our new area. So area equals 1/2 times the height of 16, and the bases 10 and 8. So you can put that all in your calculator all at once and figure out what that is. It's not the number I got, but I could have did this wrong.
I got 145.
That's what I got. Yeah, should be 144. And then area is square feet. So that would be your final answer. Questions on that? So today is your flex day. I'm going to pass out those of you who said you want to retake to work on retake stuff. That means you should be using this time wisely, working on your retake stuff, getting that stuff done. If I see that you're not using this time wisely and then you try to come after school, you'll most likely be working on your stuff by yourself without my help, because now is the time to get my help. So make sure you're using this time wisely. So I'll pass those out. If you don't have to do retake work, with the 2 papers that got passed out, you have your review. Your quiz is next class. You can be working on that, practicing, going through all those questions. If you feel like you don't need to review / want additional practice, I'll put some stuff on this table to include a bingo game, but I would need someone to run it, because while you guys are working on that, I will be coming around. But I'm also going to be having individual conferences with you guys, so you know what classes you'll be recommended for next year, unless you're a senior, but we'll talk about that too. Right now, unless you're a senior, everyone is getting recommended for the same class, Algebra 2, because that's just the next class you would take. there are some of you I have to talk about with grades and things like that. Anyone have any questions on what you guys are doing today? All right, so let me pass out those that need